You're listening to Golden River Underground, Session 6. This is a Delta Green campaign, adapted from Music from a Darkened Room and Artifact Zero, both by Dennis Detweiler. Check out our table talk for the pregame show, or just relax and enjoy the episode.
Okay. Who wants to give a recap of the last session?
I think I did it last time.
Much like last week, I actually failed to listen to the session, but what I recall happening, and hopefully I'm starting in the right spot, but very briefly, the investigation of the Spooner house is basically stalled at this point for Simon because someone burned it down, and there's no evidence of who these people were who did it. Like, Simon is pretty confident that it's the same folks who came in and took all the other evidence. The people in the unmarked black SUV that the guy at the storage place, Golden River Store, mentioned. But the house is burned down. There's not a lot left to go on there, and so Simon is unsure of where to go next. And most of the avenues about Arthur Donnelly have also come up, pretty dry. His workplace, travel stuff, nothing to see there. Nothing that Simon can use to generate any new leads. He talked to the ex-wife. She didn't know anything that, Simon didn't already know. So there's just not a lot to go on here. For Tim Bars, he, with his injured hand, was trying to take some leave to recover and work on some other stuff. But he got a call from Maggie, his new supervisor, about the university had called over because they needed some help with some ground penetrating radar for a site that, like, the archaeology department or whatever. Someone is interested in this site and any historical significance it might have. There's a prospector who is trying to mine some copper there or something, but they have to do some checks there to make sure that they're not disturbing any, archaeological stuff. So the university requested Corvidian Tech to come over, and Maggie thought that Tim would be a good pick for that because he can just kind of, it's light work that should allow his hand to heal, but he's not going to have to burn leave in order to recover. He agreed and went out to the site with the equipment, and once he was there with Dr. Thorley, who is his contact at the university, they started discovering that there were, indeed people buried here, and some other, interesting finds that they didn't expect. So once they started digging these people up, they started finding some weird things with these bodies, such as some internal fixation, i.e. metal pins or screws that were affixed to these bones, which implied that they had died sometime within the last 50 years or so. But they otherwise seemed like they might have been a lot older than that, so something seemed off and inconsistent about it. So the police ended up getting a call, and Simon got assigned to go look at it. The ultimate decision there being that some of the, one of the crime scene techs or whatever is going to work with the university folks who are going to be able to do, some dating on this stuff and get a better idea of when they were buried there. Because right now we just don't know what's going on. And that's pretty much where we ended it. Was, Tim Bars is out there assisting, with the dig, and then Simon was kind of walking away thinking there's not really much else that we can do here as police at this time. We just need to wait for the results to come back from the university and what they find for the dating.
Okay. Anything to add, Jack?
Just that in the next day or so, I think Tim might acquire a Rolex. The one body they identified had a Rolex, but the police had already walked away at that point, so I might snag it.
Another thing just to remember is that Tim Bars is obsessed with a house that is now burned down.
Yeah, I've
gone.
been thinking about how to handle that, because there's not a whole lot left. There's nothing left to look at now. I still got my mirror, and I'm going to be checking it obsessively, but the house itself is kind of a dead end.
Okay. So, what day was it? Do we remember?
I believe it was Thursday at this point.
That sounds right. So that would be Thursday the 5th?
Sunday was the 1st.
Right.
I want to say.
That would make Thursday the 5th.
Yeah, so it's about lunchtime, Thursday the 5th. Tim Bars, you are standing in the middle of a clearing that is in the woods north of town along a popular hiking trail. And it is a cool, clear day. There were a few clouds this morning, but they've blown by. And it's just sort of one of those like gray, desaturated looking days where there doesn't seem to be much color. And so Dr. Thorley has left. He said he was going back to the university to find more people from his department to help with the effort. And I think Simon has already walked away, right?
Yeah, I was walking back to the car to get out of here.
Okay. So here you are all by your lonesome. And you've been told not to... the crime scene guys are still there, and they're still taking photos of, the little bit of the skeleton that's been turned up. So there's a little bit of rib poking out of the dirt, but otherwise, just by imaging from the radar, you were able to determine that there was a pin, like a metal pin in one of the legs, and there was a metal watch on the left wrist. And so the techs are taking pictures of the surrounding area and stuff like that, but it sounded like Dr. Thorley wanted you to continue rolling the radar across the clearing and getting an idea of what else is out there. So far, a couple of flags have been placed, so you found voids corresponding to 2 bodies, one of which is the one that's being photographed now. And then another flag has been placed for that lattice structure that kind of looks like an antenna.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and it's kind of like what a small radio tower looks like, where it's 3 poles that are connected by little braces.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it sort of looks like that.
Okay. I'm interested to... I hope they get to digging that up soon, because I'm curious to see if it's what it looks like. But in the meantime...
Is this the ladder-looking thing that they detected last time?
Yes.
Yeah. Because those are the only 2 things that we've identified, is the body and that.
Well, and a void corresponding to maybe another body.
Yeah, another body. So I'm going to continue my scan, I guess, because I can't actually dig any of this stuff up.
Yeah. Okay. So it looks like at the beginning of Lewiston's prospecting efforts, they came out here and they cut down all of the saplings and the underbrush and stuff like that. So this isn't like a nice lawn, but you are able to walk fairly comfortably, but the ground isn't quite flat, and there are rocks and bumps and things like that. So it is a fair amount of work for you to push the radar along, but you're not having too much trouble. And as you're scanning, you don't see really anything out of the ordinary. Are you what's your pattern? Do you are you going around the outside and circling in? Are you spiraling out? Are you
I'm doing lines, walking a straight line, and then a couple feet to the side, go back.
Okay.
A couple feet to the side, go back.
Okay. Yeah, so you start closest to the trail and start working your way out into the forest doing this. And you're not turning anything up.
Okay. So by the time I'm done, I've determined to my satisfaction that there's the body, the potential second body, the ladder thing, and nothing else of note.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay. Then I'll head over to the gang at the body, whoever's still around, because I assume doing that takes a while. And so who would still be there at this point?
So there's one guy squatting down and taking pictures. And then there's another guy. These both look like they have jackets on that say Golden River Police Department. But they both look pretty young, and neither of them are carrying weapons. You don't think that they're cops. You think they're techs. And so the one guy's taking pictures, and so he's finished taking pictures of where the first body is, and now he's just taking shots of the area, and shots of right above where the second body was identified. But you guys haven't broken ground yet.
Yep.
The second tech is slowly walking around, just looking to see if he can find, anything like sticking up out of the ground or sitting on the ground. And it doesn't look like he's turned anything up yet. Really, both of them just look like they're waiting for somebody to come back.
Okay. You guys, is anyone going to be back anytime soon?
The guy taking photos drops the camera, so it's just hanging from its strap around his neck. And he takes a stick of gum out of his pocket and says, "What?"
I've completed my survey of the area and figured I'd let everybody know what I found. I don't know if we've met.
He extends a hand. Is Mike?
Hey, Mike. I'm Tim. I'm with the university here. Was doing the surveying, and my radar is the thing that identified this body. Looks like we have another potential body over there, and then some unusual looking structure, but over there, nothing else that I can find. So it looks like 2 more digs, and we should be done with the physical labor part of this.
He nods and says, "Well, I think we're just waiting on folks to come back from the university at this point. We don't really have anything else we can do until you guys break ground."
Okay. Well, yeah, I'll get in touch with the guys at the university and see when they're going to be back, I guess. So I'll call up Dr. Thorley.
And then he says, "You know what? I'm gonna go back to my car and get some tape, and we'll put that around the field, make sure nobody disturbs it."
Yeah, good call. Yeah, I'll walk out with you, so that way I'm not, inside your crime scene. I'll pack up my equipment.
He nods and says, "All right. All right, let's flip over to Simon. What's he up to?"
So, around what time is it?
So it's about lunchtime on Thursday. So you have just walked away from the scene.
Okay, so my plan is I'm going back to the office because there's just nothing for me to do here. Because even though I, the player, know that there's probably nothing to be gained from, pursuing the Spooner House thing. Simon is really rankled by the whole situation, and that's more his focus. And now that he's determined that he's hit a wall with this one and has to wait, he's out of that one until something comes back, and he wants to get back to trying to find out something about the Spooner case. Okay. Or the Donnelly case at the Spooner residence. Gotcha.
Is there any particular lead you're trying to run down, or?
So, what I'm thinking at this point is I'm going to go talk to the guy at Golden River Store It just to see if he's got anything at all that I can work with.
Okay. Okay, so you're getting in your car and heading over there?
So first I'm going to go back to the office to tell, the sergeant or whoever, hey, I went and made, I went and checked on this case, give them the report of what's going on and what we're waiting for, and then go over to Golden River Store It.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, and the chief signs off on the plan to go ahead and have the archaeology department unearth the bodies with police supervision to make sure everything's accounted for and not contaminated.
Right.
But
make sure no watches get stolen, that kind of thing.
Well, and mostly to preserve any evidence that might be there, but they're going to be more effective at carefully extricating these bodies from the dirt than you guys are.
Right. All right, fantastic. And then, so, until something comes back on that, I'm done for now.
Okay. Okay, yeah, so you get in your car and you cruise on over to Golden River Storage, which is on the outskirts of town. And what we said before was this is one of those storage places where it's the whole facility is behind a fence, and it's an outdoor storage facility where it's lines of basically one-story buildings where you can drive your car down like a row and park right in front of your unit. They're just garage door style with you bring your own padlock kind of situation.
Right.
So there's a small parking lot out front just off the road that's next to the office where they control the gate that lets you into the facility. There is only one car in the parking lot, and you've seen it before. You think it's the dude who runs the place.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. So I'm gonna hop out of the car and go up to the little security booth house thing.
Okay. Yeah, and there's there's like an entrance for people that are looking to rent a container. So the little sign is flipped to open right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm gonna go in.
Okay. So same guy is sitting behind a little desk. He's the Danny DeVito looking character. Obviously he has a Matt Burger in his hand.
Right. Which is curious because, again, I didn't see him last night at O'Shamrocks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is maybe the most mysterious thing that's happened in these past few days.
Yeah. I failed my sand roll.
And so anyway, he's sitting there and chewing on his burger, and he looks up at you and he says, "Hey, you want to run a unit?"
No. Hey, I'm Detective Simon Redding, Golden River PD, and I flashed my badge. I was here the other day.
Oh yeah, thanks for taking care of the take care of that unit. We take I don't want any illegal stuff happening on the grounds.
Yeah, so I knew the sergeant had come by and asked you some questions about that. You said that some crew in a black SUV had come through and taken care of that whole thing, right?
Yep, just like you sent them.
Right. So, long story short, those were not our people, and I'm trying to find out who they were.
Just some good Samaritans?
Nope. So, what do you remember about them?
Well, I mean, quick, efficient. They just took care of it, pretty much exactly like you told them to, I guess.
Okay, so I'm going to repeat for emphasis. I did not send those people.
Oh, well, I mean, someone in your department, maybe?
Incorrect.
Oh.
So, did they give you any names? Did they tell you what agency they worked for?
They said, they pulled up in a dark SUV, and then one of them walked inside, and he said that he was with the police, and that he needed to take care of something. I assumed that he was talking about what we had discussed a couple of hours earlier, so I pushed the button and raised the gate.
Okay, so can you describe him?
Yeah, he was, probably like, 5 foot, somewhere between like 5'6" and 6 foot.
I knew you were going to say that. And 6'6", somewhere in that average range.
Well, white guy, dark hair, short, muscular, aviator sunglasses, wearing like a police jacket, like one of those windbreakers. There was someone else in the car, but I didn't really get a good look at him.
Okay, so
2 guys.
2 guys, and did they say anything more specific than police?
No.
All right, and you don't have any video or surveillance or anything going on here, right?
Make a luck check for me.
All right. So odds are in my favor. I'm going to roll a d20. 11. So I'm lucky.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, whenever I raise the gate, I get a camera on a pole that takes a picture of the plates of the car.
Oh, fantastic. This is really good news. Can I get that picture, please?
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna guess you're all cops, so...
I just don't say anything.
And, so he rifles around in his desk and ultimately produces a VHS. He says, this is the one from, this is the one from the other day. I haven't taped over it yet.
Okay, do you mind if I take this?
Uh-huh. But I need a copy back for my records.
Sure. Yeah,
We take security really seriously here.
I can tell. I'll make a copy of it, and I'll give you back the original.
Okay.
Is there anything else you remember from how long were they here? Did you notice when they left?
No, I was making my rounds at the time.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. I'll have this back to you soon.
All right. Happy to, always happy to help someone else who's also, protecting and serving.
Right. Good job. And then, so I'm a little excited because I have something vaguely resembling a lead, although I'm not too hopeful about it. Because they probably got like fake plates on or, something. So I want to go back to the office and use one of the VCRs of the office to copy the tape.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So you go back to the office, and you probably have one of those, there's some kind of AV lab where you can go to like a standing terminal where there's a big VCR with all kinds of knobs and switches on it that I don't understand. It's like in The Ring when Naomi Watts is trying to investigate the tape.
I've never seen The Ring.
So. All right. Anyway, it's some kind of very sophisticated VCR. It's almost like a server room, but it's like a rack of VCRs with like little screens and stuff.
What was the film you told me to watch about the surveillance guy? Who he was doing like the audio engineering to
The Conversation.
People. The Conversation, yeah, it's like that.
Yes.
That ginormous apparatus.
Yeah. And so anyway, you can see there didn't appear to be much traffic at the Golden River Storage facility that day. But shortly after you left, we got to look this up. What kind of SUV was common in 1995?
Oh, these things look classy.
Yeah. Chevy Blazer, a Ford Bronco.
Okay, it's Ford Bronco.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so there's a black Ford Bronco that pulls up. You can see that there's it's just like a couple sets of, what you're looking at on this tape is a few seconds of recording each time the gate comes up. Mm-hmm. And in this case, you're looking at a black Ford Bronco that has paper dealer plates on it.
Of course. Of course.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and can I see through the windshield? Or there's a glare.
So you can see that there are two people in it.
Okay.
So they look like men. As far as you can make out, it looks like at least the driver matches the description that was given to you.
Can I zoom in and enhance?
You can't. You know what? Actually, what's a good skill for this? I'm gonna say computer science.
Computer science
or electronics, because I think that's the closest we got.
If only I were there.
Because what you're doing is you're manipulating some knobs and switches where you're like, if only I could, reduce the glare on this. This is your zoom and enhance scene.
Are you sure you wouldn't call this like a firearms check or perhaps search?
Yeah.
Maybe unarmed combat.
Well, what do you have in search? What do you have in search?
I have a 60 in search.
You know what? Let's say apply a -20 penalty to that.
Okay, so I'm doing a 40.
Yeah.
Essentially. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So you are looking at this grainy, head-on picture, or short video, like seconds-long video of the Bronco with the gate coming up and then rolling through the gate.
That's a fail.
Okay. Yeah,
Too much
all you do is you keep rewinding it over and over again. It's like all you really feel comfortable doing. There are all these other switches and stuff like that, and you can't tell what they're doing.
Right. They don't seem to be labeled, or they're labeled with symbols that, offer no explanation of what they might do.
It's like a Star Trek bridge where there's just a bunch of flashing lights that
The annunciator starts going off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not making any progress with this. Can I make out what dealership the dealer plates are from, or is it too grainy for me to read that much detail?
So you can't read what the smaller text is. All you can read are the letters and numbers. The prominent stuff on there.
Okay, but the dealer plate, does it have any? I don't know a lot about dealer plates. Is there something that I can call up from that plate, or is it just like the temp?
So what you're looking at is it's a paper plate, and it's got information about the dealership on it in small text. It's there. You just can't read it. But then the actual tag number is clearly readable to you. So you're able to write that down.
Okay. Well, that's good. So what I want to do with that then is, I'll take the tape out, and I've got the copy as well, and I'll return the other one, when it occurs to me to do so. But what I want to do now is call over to the DMV and have them do a lookup for this plate.
Okay. Pretty much right away, they're able to tell you that they don't have that number on file.
What does that mean? Does that mean it's
probably not real?
Oh, probably not real. Okay. I saw this coming. I think I said earlier that it would be a fake plate. Man, bummer. Got my hopes up there for a second. I doubt
you
that
remember your good friend Tim is super good with computers.
Nah, I don't think I'd remember that at this point. Maybe I will remember that. Does it make sense that I would remember that, or should I roll for it?
I think that makes sense, yeah.
Tim,
okay. He's a reasonable guy, really good judgment.
Yeah,
You've never met a man more sane than Tim.
Yeah, more grounded
especially
in reality.
Recently.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah. I think to myself, wait a minute. I think that Tim character might actually be a bit of a computer whiz. And so
Hacker Man.
Yeah, he's Hacker Man. I'm gonna wait until he's home to call him, and then see if he can help me out tomorrow with it. Because does he even have a pager?
Not that you're aware of.
Yeah. So he's out in the middle of nowhere right now. I know he's out in the field, or I have no indication that he is not still with them. So, I kind of file that away in my brain and say, okay, I need to hit that up. So I guess I'll go ahead and return the original copy, and then I'm going to go over to Arthur Donnelly's apartment building and check vainly for any surveillance there. I know he had a surveillance camera, but, unlikely as it may be, given that it was an older building, I want to see if, anywhere at the front they had surveillance running that might have caught a picture of these people entering.
So, what surveillance are you referring to there? His apartment, Donnelly himself had surveillance rigged up.
Right, and I'm checking vainly because I don't believe that it is probable that the apartment itself had a security camera that points frontward or something.
Yeah, so you drive by, you park your car at the parking lot out front of the apartment complex and walk around, check the corners and stuff like that. They don't have cameras.
Yeah. I shrug because I hadn't allowed my hopes to go up from this. And then I kind of like tap my foot a little bit. I'm just like racking my brains trying to think of what else I could do.
Oh, give me another luck check.
Okay. I'm gonna roll a d6 this time. Fail.
Okay, you did allow your hopes to go up. But
man, now I'm...
Yeah, but then they were dashed.
I'm feeling bummed. Yeah, I'm feeling lower than ever.
Yeah.
So low that I might be somewhere in the same, zip code as Tim Bars right now.
You can roll a d6 to find out how high they went up.
All right.
Before they ultimately fell.
3.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna... It's probably like mid-afternoon, late afternoon at this point.
Yeah. It's late afternoon.
It's late afternoon, so I'm gonna go ahead and just head back to the office and kind of clock out and head over to those Shamrocks.
Okay.
And then at sometime tonight, once I feel like Tim is certainly home from his excursion out into the wilds, I'll give him a call.
Okay. So back over to Tim. So you've been, you were standing out there shooting the shit with the 2 lab tech types. And one of them, Mike, dipped out to his car, got tape, and he has taped. He's used several rolls of crime scene tape to get all the way around this clearing. And right as he's finishing that, Dr. Thorley shows back up, and he's got a couple of people with him. These are the couple of grad students you saw earlier with the wheelbarrow and all the implements. They have like one of those gators with them.
Okay.
Do they rig in that
thing?
No, I'm talking about it's like a golf cart thing.
Yeah.
But with bigger wheels, better for off-roading. And they have what look like shovels and other finer implements, things like brushes and stuff like that. They have bottled water. And so Dr. Thorley gets with his guys, and they get some tools and walk up to you. And Thorley looks at you and says, "So Tim, how'd the scan go?"
So we've got the one body you know about. There's the other boy that looks like it might be another body. There's that like sort of lattice structure thing. I didn't find anything else. I scanned the entire area, and those are the only 3 anomalies that we identified.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
so looks like the cops are kind of gating the place off for now, so...
Yeah, I could see that. And he looks at the 2 techs and says, okay, how do you want us to proceed? And Mike looks at him and says, well, you can... now that we've just got the three things to look at, if you'll do the digging, as long as we supervise, then we'll make an assessment once we see a little bit more on whether or not this is yours or ours, and then we'll go from there. So Thorley shrugs his shoulders and says, "Okay, well then if you're ready, we'll get started." And Mike shrugs his shoulders and then gets his camera ready, and Thorley whistles to the 2 students that are with him, and they bring over all the implements from the gator that they have parked over by the side of the trail. And he has them stand off to the side, and he begins cautiously excavating around the body and explaining to the students, here's how it works. First we use shovels until we get this deep, and then once we think we're sufficiently close, we switch to trowels, and then, so he's being very careful not to disturb the remains. And the tech is taking pictures the whole time. So he's digging up the second body. And in this case, there's nothing specifically modern about it, except when he begins inspecting the teeth on the skull, it seems like there are metal fillings.
Okay. Which offhand I think is a fairly recent thing that we've been doing.
Let me look that up for you.
Yep.
So now you have 2 excavated skeletons that appear to be very old. and so he looks. Thorley looks up at the he looks up at his students and he looks up at the tech and at Tim and says, "Okay, what do we do with this?"
But I don't know. I'm not associated with the police. You'll have to ask them. I'm just a curious bystander.
He climbs out of the hole and tells the techs, "Look, I think, based on what I'm seeing here, I think this is a police matter. So I'm planning on walking away from this until you guys, I don't know."
Well, hold on. Do we want to, before you walk away, since you got the tools, do we want to see what the third thing is?
Well, yeah, sure. How deep was it? And he looks over at your notes, and it's like 3 feet underground. The closest bit of it is like 3 feet down.
Yeah, we can at least see what it's made out of pretty quickly.
All right. Okay. So he begins digging at this now. Fortunately, the soil isn't too rocky here, and so it doesn't take that long to get down to pretty close. And he begins clearing it off, and he's being very careful not to touch it with anything. It looks like a partially buried radio tower. So it's
real
just
quick.
Yeah.
Metal fillings, even 19th century, early 19th century metal fillings were already being used. And some of the oldest ones date back like thousands of years.
Well, I guess we'll be able to make a tighter determination once we see what metal was used.
So,
because I'm sure it's more standardized now than it was in a long
it seems
ago.
like metal fillings started around the beginning of the 19th century. But there were definitely different kinds of fillings long before that, though it doesn't seem like that was a common practice in the Americas before that time.
So this structure that you're looking at, it seems modern, but it's like bent or warped. Like this, whatever it is, it definitely isn't natural. It was definitely assembled. You're not sure what metal it was made from. But it looks like it's just been bent over time.
Huh. That's not what I expected. You ever seen anything like this, or?
No, I have no idea what this is.
So we've uncovered the top of it. How much deeper does this thing go?
It looks like it's maybe 2.5 feet long.
Okay.
You're only looking at like the top 6 inches.
Okay. So it wouldn't be too terribly difficult to uncover the rest of it, probably. It's easy for me to say. I'm not doing any of the work, but yeah, just uncover the rest of it. See if there's anything else at the bottom. He
looks up and looks at Mike, who's been snapping photos. Mike shrugs his shoulders and nods. So Thorley continues to excavate, and give me an alertness check.
Ooh, alertness.
There's a spooky ghost behind you.
Yeah. I check my mirror. Let's see. That's a crit fail.
Oh my god.
Nice.
All right.
Okay, so he's been digging for a while. You guys have been out here like all day. And so you turn around and are just looking at the trees, like listening to the birds and stuff like that. You can hear hikers walking down the path not that far from you, and people have been stopping, like hikers have been stopping and looking in to see what was going on. So anyway, you turn around maybe for, 30 seconds or so, and you hear one of the students go, "What the fuck?" And a couple of gasps.
They're baiting you. Don't fall for it.
I slowly turn around to make it clear that, I'm above that sort of thing.
Thorley has disappeared.
Where'd Thorley go, guys? Mike?
Mike looks at you, and his mouth is just open. And he says, he was right there, and he just... I was looking at him, and he just vanished.
That's, did you see it too? I'll point to the other guy.
The other tech. Yeah, he he's just sweating, and he says, like, I think I need to sit down.
Weren't they both hung over from the mat ball party last night?
Oh, the mat ball party.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna... Is the antenna still there? Or did it go with him?
The antenna is still there.
Okay. But I, unfortunately, did not see what he was doing when it presumably sent him back.
Maybe sent him back. What do you mean sent him back?
So the two...
You should probably just go touch it.
The two students run over, jump in the gator, and, like, tear off.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about the student. Yeah, poor guys. They just lost their,
and give me a sand check.
Oh, good. I'm really good at these. I currently have 40 sanity. Oh, easy pass.
Okay. Just lose 1 sand.
Oh, great.
So how do you justify this to yourself?
I am going to... I'm like, you know what? I've seen weird things before. It's probably ghosts. And I'm going to take out my mirror, and I'm going to look at the...
That's perfect.
You've expanded what's acceptable for you to rationalize.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the lab tech guys are, like, freaking out. And they are... they're both convinced that they were looking right at him and he just disappeared. They are conjecturing about how that's possible. But they're pretty frantic. Like, they seem a little hysterical.
So I'm going to I'm not going to touch it, but looking at the antenna, I was looking away for a little bit. Did he, like, I'm assuming he was continuing to uncover it while I was looking away. Is there some part of it that's now visible that looks, like, interactable,
I mean, it looks like just more of a similar structure is visible. It's that triangular formation of 3 poles connected by cross beams.
So it's not like there's like a switch that he uncovered.
No, it doesn't look like that.
Okay. I am going to do an experiment. I'm going to take because this is now, it's in kind of a hole that presumably has sort of slanted sides. I'm going to find a rock and just try to roll it down so that it contacts the antenna.
Okay.
But I am not touching the rock when it hits the antenna.
All right. So you roll the rock and it just bumps into the antenna.
I guess that makes sense. If it made things disappear on contact, then it wouldn't be embedded in the ground like this, because the ground would have gone.
See if you can find like a
rat
a
or
bird.
Something. Yeah. Yeah. Anybody have a pet that they don't really need anymore?
And so as you're standing there rolling stuff into it and stroking your chin, going like, these two guys are like, what the fuck are you doing?
I'm just, you're saying this thing made them disappear. I'm seeing if it makes other stuff disappear.
And then,
I look at the lab text and say, just because
Mike
you get a
tells the other
surprising
guy,
result
like,
doesn't mean you can just give up, okay?
Well, Mike grabs his radio and says, what the fuck am I doing? And he like radios the station and says, you guys got to get some people down here. We need help at the clearing. Find Detective Redding, please.
I was gonna say
the only man for the job.
Simon's spider senses are tingling, and he knows work is coming his way somehow.
Yeah. So yeah,
he walks back into the office to say like, "Hey, I'm going home, everybody." And then the chief says, "What the hell you are?" So in short order, I'm sure I'm rolling out there.
Okay. Yeah. So you park in the parking lot and see a couple of like college kids just blasting off the trail in a gator. And you begin the 10-minute walk on the trail out to the clearing. By the time you get there, you see Tim Bars standing over a hole, like throwing stuff at something. and two scared-looking lab techs nervously taking pictures of things.
All right. Hey,
Simon.
I'm back. What's going on?
So Dr. Thorley was the second body has been dug up. You can see it over there. More importantly, Dr. Thorley was digging up this weird little antenna thing, and then I wasn't looking when it happened, but according to these guys, he just vanished. Just disappeared.
I raise one eyebrow and I'm looking at Tim. I'm like,
ask these guys, they saw it.
and I slowly turn towards them.
They look at you sheepishly and say, Mike says, look, I know this sounds weird. I was watching Dr. Thorley dig, and he vanished.
And you're sure he didn't just, like, walk into the woods for a smoke or something?
I was looking right at him, and 1 second he was there, and the next second he wasn't there.
All right. And where precisely was he standing? And so I'm gonna, like, try and go and, like...
Yeah, and he's like, don't go in there.
And I just kind of roll my eyes. I'm like, listen, just bear with me. Where was he?
And he's like, I'm serious, detective. Don't go in there.
Where
he was standing in the hole, digging around the antenna thing.
Okay. And you guys are... So, wait, what were you doing? Staring into... How deep is this hole?
At this point, it's like 2.5 feet deep, 3 feet deep.
Oh, okay. So, anyone standing in it would still clearly be visible to anybody else. All right. Well, not to, people don't just disappear into thin air. I understand that that's what you think you saw, but that doesn't happen. Have you guys tried, like, looking around the area? Maybe he went to go pee in the woods.
You don't get it. He
He
didn't climb out of the hole and go pee.
Am I the only person in this town who's still sane? People don't just disappear. And I walk over and I want to touch the antenna.
No.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna do like what do you think is happening? That you like touch this thing? Yeah,
metal.
Exactly. And then you just disappear. That's what I'm going for.
Yeah, you disappear.
Okay.
No. Why?
Because I'm a skeptic.
Well then.
Yeah, so Simon is immediately you are removed from your surroundings and you are hurtling through this void, choking. Like there's no air for you to breathe. And then you just as quickly find yourself in a standing in the middle of a jungle full of unfamiliar plants and sounds.
Down there for a second. Anyway, like I was saying,
yeah, you hear all kinds of crazy noises around you, and then a dinosaur walks through the trees.
Amazing. Is this the end of Simon Redding?
I can come back from this.
You see, he has in the dinosaur's mouth is the corpse of Dr. Thorley.
Yeah, in front of you there is there's this weird antenna structure.
I touch it again.
And you know what? Give me a luck check.
Okay.
Okay.
Pass.
Okay. You come back.
Yay!
Whoa, that was
How long has it been on our end?
3 years.
How long? Yeah, how long were you over there?
I don't know, like a minute.
Okay, it's been a minute.
Okay. No dilation in effect. So
Correct.
you come back to see Tim.
Well, hold on. Simon needs to make like the sand check of his life.
All right. I believe I'm at 49 sand at the moment.
Oh wow.
And in
Did a
fact,
lot
I'm going to
better
have
than
you
me.
make two. You got to make one for when you showed up and another for when you came back.
Okay. That's a fail on the first one.
Okay.
So
Roll 1d4.
1d4. Oh, that's a pretty light sand check for this. 2.
Okay. And again.
All right, so now I'm at 47. Pass, 23. Okay. So, I get what's going on now.
Yeah, whatever.
Nailed it. Yeah, when you come back, Tim is scrambling to. He's telling everybody to go get supplies so that he can go in after Simon.
Sand check as well.
Oh, good.
You're gonna lose 2d20 sand, by the way.
Oh my god, I got a 1. I am the most sane.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, expected. You're a man of science.
Yeah,
yeah, of course.
So do I lose 1, or what am I doing?
No, if you, you lose 1.
Okay. Yeah, so when you come back, Tim is like basically preparing to go in after you, and he's like, I gotta get food, I gotta get water, I'm gonna get camping supplies, and I'm gonna go after him. And then you just pop up and you're, Simon, you're back.
Yeah, that was weird, trippy. I think I passed out there for a second.
And Tim immediately pivots from concern to smug superiority and says, "Oh, people don't just disappear."
The lab techs.
What are you talking about? I'm right here.
Run. They
my
run
brain
towards
is already,
the trail, and you don't see them.
My brain is already filling in explanations for why this isn't it. It's a little weird, but you know what? I haven't been drinking anything all day, and I'm really dehydrated, and it's this kind of thing has happened to me before. Usually it's when I'm sleeping, where I'm in a half sleep state and I don't know what's going on, or I'm having a bad dream or whatever. I'm feeling a little woozy, and my brain is already correcting back to a way to assimilate this experience into the rational world that I understand that I live in.
Mm-hmm. Tim looks on in despair as he begins to realize that Simon is just never going to accept any of this stuff.
But what about the feather?
Tim's thinking to himself, I understand how he could have been skeptical about everything else, but it just happened to him, and he's already justifying it.
See, but here's the thing that he's not understanding is that from Simon's perspective, he didn't disappear. He just had, because he was present in his own reality the whole time.
Yeah, he didn't disappear. It's just everything else did twice.
Yeah, and so all he's thinking is that he went to go touch this thing. He tripped out a little bit because he's dehydrated, and then he came back to lucidity, and everyone else is freaking out.
Just to make it extremely explicit, Simon, the reason we're freaking out is because you disappeared and then returned.
No, I think I just fainted.
I assure you did not.
What do you mean disappeared?
I mean that you were here and then you weren't, and now you're here again. Kind of similar to the Thorley situation, except he never came back.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
I don't disagree, but that is what happened. We need to not let anybody near this antenna. This thing's extremely
this one?
Yeah.
Then I go touch it. No, I'm kidding.
No!
So, hang on. Explain that one more time.
So I didn't see the Thorley situation, but based on what they said, he touched the antenna or did something with the antenna and he disappeared. Then you showed up. We explained that. You said that couldn't happen. You touched the antenna. You disappeared. Then you came back. I don't know how that happened. I don't know what the difference is between you and him, but touching the antenna seems to make people... What happened to you? What did you see?
Well, I don't know.
Okay. Well, I guess we don't know then, but whatever you did to get back, I thoroughly maybe wasn't able to pull it off. But you were definitely gone.
That doesn't make sense.
I don't disagree. But
I'm just kind of squinting and just I'm lost in thought. Well, I mean, what we're going to have to do is I'm going to have to call in and we're going to have to get people searching out here in the woods for Thorley.
Yeah, sure, dude. Just tell them not to disturb the antenna.
Sure. I need to get back to the car and radio this in.
Yeah, sounds good.
So
Tim's
I'm
lost in
gonna.
thought.
I'm gonna walk slightly faster than usual towards the car. I need to radio this in, and we need to get a search party out here looking for Dr. Thorley.
Okay. So what do you tell the station?
I tell them what I understand, or what I believe is going on here, which is, I get on the radio and I tell them that Dr. Thorley was out here, with, the university team, doing some, pre-prospecting or whatever, and he's gone missing. We lost, the people out here lost track of him at some point during the day, and no one seems to know where he is. And so we need to, someone needs to swing by the university in his home and see if, like, somehow he just, got home and drove home without people noticing or something. But then if people don't find him relatively quickly, we need to get a search party out in the woods and, get a posse together to comb the area.
Okay. Okay, yeah, so you get acknowledgement from the station, and it sounds like they're putting together a group of people to come out here, but it'll take a little bit of time.
Tim has an idea, because he's thinking, okay, this thing made people vanish, and we have a bunch of old but new bodies, and we just sent someone else away. I wonder if it's sending them to the past. If so, there might be a new body. And I'm going to break out the survey equipment again.
Why would you think it was sending them to the past?
Because we have a bunch of old but new bodies. Things that are older than they should be. It's a speculative leap.
I was going to say it's an interesting leap.
Okay, so you are resurveying the field?
Yes, I'm seeing if there's a third body now.
Okay. All right, now that's going to take you probably 2 hours.
That's fine. I'm wired.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you switch that thing back on and you get started. What is Simon up to?
I guess I'm just gonna wait here until the other, I'm gonna wait by my radio because I want to, get some acknowledgement of, I want to hear the traffic of people showing up to his house or the university or, any other haunts that he has to try and see if he's in town, because that would obviously be the first step before we start combing the woods.
Okay. After about an hour of waiting, a bunch of people from the department show up, as well as the volunteers that they were able to scrape together, and they start getting organized in the parking lot.
Okay.
The department's issuing flashlights, radios, and then working off of maps that they have of the forest. They've set up grid assignments, mostly pairing officers with civilians.
Mm-hmm. Sure. I'm a little proud right now of the community. Mm-hmm. I'm Golden River born and raised, and
go salamanders,
Go salamanders, and it's one of those things that this kind of thing happens every once in a while. Like maybe once every year or so. Some hunter gets lost, or
mm-hmm.
whatever. And there's always like a big crowd that shows up to go out and look. Like there's a big volunteer thing. It's like it's a reassuring sense of community. And it's Simon's community. Like these are his people, and so he feels pride.
So as you're standing, just beaming it, you're a community coming together. You see the chief's car pull up,
mm-hmm.
and when he gets out, he looks straight at you and walks up.
I meet him halfway. Chief,
what's going on here?
Not entirely sure. So the Dr. Thorley, who was part of that crew who called in earlier about the bodies being buried here, he disappeared at some point after I had left. Some of the techs saw, had a eye on him 1 second and he was gone the next. So, we did a preliminary search of the area. I called the sergeant. Told him to have somebody check on his home and everything. But he's probably missing somewhere out here in these woods. So we gotta start searching.
All right. And what about the bodies?
Well, the tech and some of the college kids got spooked, so the bodies are still out there. But the plan, as I said earlier, is for the college to try and date these because there's some weird inconsistencies with them. some fillings and internal fixation and like a watch and some other stuff that are seem like they're newer than some of these bodies are. So it's kind of weird.
You think it's a murder?
No idea yet, Chief.
Kidnapping?
It's possible, I suppose. No evidence that points at anything yet. That's why we need the college to do some dating on it.
All right.
But first things first, we need to, get the search going before it's too late.
Well, I don't want all these searchers trampling and contaminating my crime scene.
No, I'm gonna make sure that's marked off so people know not to touch it.
Good.
And in fact, I'm gonna go do that right now.
See that you do.
So I go talk to the whoever the dude who's doing grid assignments is, just to make sure that he knows where the crime scene is, because that's where we should be, like, sort of centered around that point anyway.
Yeah.
But I just want to make sure he knows that people shouldn't. He should include in his announcement to the posse before they get started, like, hey, this is an investigation scene that this was happening at, so we need to not touch that.
Okay. Yeah, and you feel pretty comfortable that he understands what you want.
And then I'm gonna go mark it off. I think there's already some like signposts around it.
There's crime scene tape all the way around the clearing.
Lots of tape, and inside you see me.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so as Simon has been doing all this stuff out of the parking lot, what has Tim Barr's been up to?
He's been radaring the whole thing to see if he finds another body.
Right, okay. And the sun is going down at this point. So you've been trying to see if you can uncover anything new, and you're almost done with this clearing. You haven't seen anything.
Too bad. Well, not every hunch works out, and even if I am right, it may be that he isn't in the clearing.
Or he was one of the bodies you already found.
Also possible.
Depends on what kind of time travel this world works
yeah,
with,
that's the thing. Well, today has been in some ways productive and in some ways not really at all. Oh,
Cast your mind back. Was he wearing a Rolex? Did he have fillings?
Yeah, that's a good question. Did Dr. Thorley have a Rolex?
Give me an alertness check.
Oh, baby. Let's see here. Oh, really? Oh, okay. I thought it was a crit fail. I thought it was a 99. It's a 96.
You're not really a watch guy.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Might have been a Timex Iron Man. Might have been a Rolex. Who knows?
Too bad. I'll turn to if any of his people are still around. I'll ask, hey,
You're by yourself out here.
I speak to the air. Yeah, interesting.
Okay.
Well,
you finish up the field, and there's no other bodies.
Too bad. It was a good try.
Okay. And right about then, you can hear the voices of a lot of people coming down the trail. You think this is probably the search effort. So Simon, what are you up to?
I'm coming back because I want to check out the crime scene more. Like, I called in the search, but that's not my thing.
So you're back, and it looks like Tim has just finished resurveying, and he's now standing over the hole again, looking at the antenna.
Mm-hmm. And I brought my radio with me.
Okay.
So, because I have a car radio, but I assume I have like a man-portable one as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so, the bodies are still here, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I want to radio back to the station and say, tell them that we need to get the tech and college crew back out here to, like, they ran away abruptly earlier, but they need to come back and actually finish their job.
Okay.
And get these bodies out of here.
So some people at the station sounds like they're trying to find them for you.
Yeah. But then I'm looking at Tim and say, hey, unrelated, but how good are you with like computers and videotapes and stuff like that?
I'm pretty solid. I do a lot of that stuff professionally, and also, in a more research sense at the college. I get to use a lot of their stuff.
Okay, so I've got a. Remember how there was some, gang of people who came by and stole all the evidence from the Spooner House case?
Oh yeah, your fake cops.
Right, exactly. So I have a videotape of them driving into Golden River Storette. And I wanted to see if there was any way to like clean up some of the tape so we could, see what these guys look like.
Did you try zooming and enhancing?
Yeah, I didn't know which button did that.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I'll help you out.
Okay, thanks.
See, when you tell me that something suspicious happens, I believe you.
Yeah, this is just regular suspicious, not ghost story suspicious. Yeah, I'm not saying there's a vampire, and I'm having trouble seeing that on tape. I'm saying I'm trying to see through a windshield.
Okay. Well, if there's a ghost behind it.
Well, we'll deal with that.
We'll
if
find
it happens.
out. Yeah, show me where it's at.
I mean, we're busy here.
Precinct?
Yeah, it's at the precinct.
Okay.
Just when you get a chance. Stop by.
It doesn't look like this was gonna take me a while, but I think my job here is kind of done for now, unless they call me back. So I can swing by tomorrow morning, like first thing.
Sure, that sounds good. I imagine I'll end up sticking around here for a while. Or maybe not. It depends on what the guy who's running the search wants to do.
Fair enough. I guess I got some Totino's pizza rolls calling my name, but I'll see you tomorrow.
Something stirs within me when you say that. I remember that you were at the Spooner house because I remember finding the pizza rolls.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe lay off the pizza rolls.
No.
Okay.
Tim is feeling oddly chipper because he feels like he was beginning to doubt himself after the whole picture thing didn't turn out. He was starting to think like maybe it's all in my head, maybe I'm crazy. And then this happened, and even though it probably has nothing to do with the Spooner house situation, it has reaffirmed to him that weird stuff is happening, at least in other areas. And so it's not crazy necessarily to think that some weird stuff happened at the Spooner house. He's feeling pretty good.
So, and on the other hand, Simon is feeling annoyed at the smugness that he detects from Tim Bars, because he thinks there's a perfectly reasonable explanation for this, which is that Tim Bars hasn't been getting a lot of sleep and is just generally distorted at the moment, and then these hungover college kids basically, detected something weird, and then Simon was a little dehydrated earlier and whatever, so he had an episode, but whatever. It's not the weirdest thing that's ever happened to him, and people are just seeing what they want to see, and this is all. Everyone's gonna feel very foolish at the end of this once there's a very reasonable explanation for everything that's happening.
Fantastic.
Okay. Well, you're able to monitor the search via radio, but nobody's turning up anything.
Yeah, I mean it's not too surprising, but it's frustrating because there's only a couple ways to definitively end these things, and if you whenever you end them early, it sucks because what if you found them 15 minutes later if you just kept looking. But again, that's not my call. That's on the whoever is in charge of the search party detail, and presumably like the chief. But I shrug, and I want to radio over to the guy and ask him if he needs meat for anything.
Unless you want to pick up a grid square, no.
Not really. Well, I feel kind of bad. Yeah, I'll pick up a grid square.
I mean, he says it pretty passive aggressively.
Yeah. I ask him which
he says,
one
I don't know. Have I found the guy yet?
Well, by your tone, presumably no. So I mean, I've got my flashlight on me. I'll pick up a grid square and I'll help.
Okay.
Do I find him?
Oh yeah, you find him.
Yeah, he was just in a camping chair, taking a nap.
No, I was just peeing.
Got lost.
Yeah. No. So, what about Tim? Are you joining Simon?
You know what? Sure, I was gonna go home and eat, but I could use the exercise, and I wanna continue to bother him with my aura of smugness.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
All right, so it's dark now, and so you guys pick up some flashlights at the parking lot, and you head out to your spot marked on the map and start looking around.
Thorley, are you out there?
He's not.
Tim, you can just go home if you
go ahead,
want.
Give me a search check.
Yeah, baby.
No, this is good. We'll fail it, and then we'll get better at searching.
Critical success. I got a 55 on a 60.
I failed.
So do I find him?
You don't.
Oh. What do I find?
Nothing.
Oh. But I'm very certain that he's not in the Squid Square.
You feel like you've been really thorough.
Uh-huh. Well, Tim, I don't know about you, but I think I pretty much killed the Squid Square. He's not here.
Yep, I agree. Tell you what, I'm gonna go home and I'll meet you at the precinct at like 7 in the morning tomorrow. We can go over that tape.
Okay, sure. Sounds good. Thanks.
Tim wanders off, whistling.
Don't get lost on the way back.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, some peace and quiet.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go touch that. I'm gonna go touch that antenna again.
Let me see what's up with that antenna.
Okay. All right, so that's how we're ending the day.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, whenever the next shift starts for the search, or whatever, I'm gonna go home.
Yeah. As once they didn't find it within the first hour or so, they start planning. Okay, we're gonna send some people home and keep some people out to prolong the search, and they start bringing in like first responders from other surrounding communities. So yeah, you find like
a helicopter from Pierre is flying in.
Mm-hmm. And at some good transition, you head out, go get some sleep, or do you go to O'Shamrock's?
What time is it when I leave?
It's probably about midnight.
Yeah, I'll get a nightcap.
Okay. Yeah, I mean O'Shamrock's is open until 2.
Sure. So yeah, most of the crowd, because it's Thursday, right? I mean, now Friday, I guess. So it's probably pretty empty at this point. But O'Shamrock's Tim is, I'm sure he's thrilled to see me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So he is. He's always thrilled to see you.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes ahead this time. So he, it looks like it's pretty quiet. There aren't that many people here. But he sees you come in, and as soon as you walk in the door, he gets out a bottle of Jameson and starts preparing your 10 ounces.
Hey, just 8 tonight. I've got an early morning.
So he switches to a different glass. He gets out an 8-ounce glass.
So it's still filled to the brim.
Yeah. And he fills it all the way up to the brim, and then he just looks you dead in the eyes, and he grabs an ice cube and holds it above the glass.
Don't do it. You know I like it neat.
He drops it in there, and it just spills Jameson all over the bar.
All right, whatever.
He says, "You want another one?"
No, that's fine.
And he just looks at you.
I look back at him as I slurp down.
It?
I'm drinking it right now. All right, Tim, calm down. What's with the animosity?
All right, so.
I slurp it down so fast, and then I walk across the street that I don't even feel the effects of the alcohol until I'm taking off my pants and getting in bed.
Perfect. Okay. What about Tim? Did you just head straight home?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
He hasn't been to Stella's in a few days. They're probably a little concerned about him.
That's true.
I know, right?
That's true. Okay, so when you guys wake up, Simon probably wakes up first, right?
Yeah, I'm an early riser.
So what time are you getting up?
I mean, naturally, I probably, I'm one of those guys who always wakes up 12 minutes before their alarm goes off.
Mm-hmm. What kind of alarm clock do you have?
It's one of those old classic, circle ones with the actual mechanical bell.
Oh, it's an analog mechanical clock that you wind up.
Right.
Okay.
It's those little kinds of habits that create the consistency that allows him to, keep up this lifestyle.
Oh, okay.
He goes to O'Shamrock's every night. He sets his clock every night, that kind of thing.
No, that makes sense.
And, he considers that might be why Tim Bars is being so erratic. He's pretty sure that Tim Bars, hasn't, he hasn't been to Stella's in a while. He's got nothing that grounds him. He doesn't go to church every Sunday. like Simon does, even though Simon doesn't believe in any of it.
That's why Tim is such a fuck up.
Right. He's got yeah. And of course he's living in, a college dorm essentially at 30, which is not cool.
Yeah.
So he just kind of shakes his head while thinking of Tim Bars and, cracks open a beer, hops in the shower, shaves, because it's the 90s and, everyone was clean shaven.
Mm-hmm.
And now this is the first time he shaved in like a week, but, he decides today's the day. And then, he's gonna head over to the office so he can, make sure that he's there in time to meet with Tim Bars, because punctuality is a big thing for him.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Tim, what are you up to?
I'm gonna wake up and go to Stella's, so they know I'm okay.
And the only people that care about him.
I'll get my usual, and then I'll head over to the precinct.
Okay.
I walk in, and they look at me, and they go, "Oh, okay," and then they go about their day.
Yeah, they squint, and they're like,
"Do I know that guy?
Has he been here before?" Yeah. You're like, "Give me the usual," and they just kind of stare at you, like,
Okay. All right. So, having done that, you guys are head back to the parking lot?
No. We're going to the precinct to look at the VHS tape.
Yeah, I missed it. Okay, so you go to the precinct, and upon checking in, you find that the search effort went on through the night, and they didn't find anything.
Okay.
And okay, so do you guys meet outside?
I'm gonna head in as soon as I get there because Tim knows how to find me.
Okay.
So
Tim, you check in at the desk and and Simon, you just get buzzed that Tim is done.
Yeah,
as usual.
So I bring him over to the tape room and show him what I'm trying to do. So you see these two cats in the Ford Bronco here.
No, they look like people to me.
Good point. So the I'm trying to see if I can get a better clarity on their faces. So yeah, I said I wanted to zoom and enhance, but there's a lot of buttons on this thing and they're not very clearly labeled.
You got it. Watch a master at work.
I can't wait for this to fail.
Yeah.
Give me that check.
Computer science?
Yep.
Got 80 in computer science. It's gonna be no.
You're gonna get a 99.
Problem. Got a 28. We're good.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So you are able to zoom and enhance in some way that makes sense, and you come up with you're basically able to read the dealer plate well enough that you can make out what the smaller text on it says, and it looks like it says Golden River Ford.
Okay, so they got it here. So they rented this thing or bought it or whatever here in town. That's great. Assuming that they didn't just completely fabricate this whole thing. I rack my brains being a salamander. Is there such a place?
No.
Is there a no? Ah, dang it.
Get right.
Another bad lead. Well, anyway, zoom and enhance on those faces.
All right.
I will attempt to do so.
Okay. So there is a little bit of glare on the windshield, but you can see the driver is like a middling height, white dude, dark hair. He's got a pretty square jaw, and he's wearing it looks like he's wearing like a polo shirt and jeans, and he has a dark windbreaker on.
Impressive that I can see what kind of pants he's wearing.
He's got his feet up on the dash.
Yeah.
You're not sure how he's, punching the gas, but his feet are up there.
Yeah, they're up. His partner, sitting in the passenger seat, maybe he's about the same height, it's tough to tell. And he has like a crew cut, brownish hair maybe, tough to tell. Glasses, like Jeffrey Dahmer type glasses.
Good.
Also, polo shirt and windbreaker.
Okay. Well, these two clowns look about as generic as they come, but maybe someone can give me something on these guys. So thanks, Tim. I appreciate it. And I assume there's some way that I can do a printout of the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Tim shows you how. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
And this stack that you're working on has an integrated printer.
Awesome. Yeah. This thing is truly the wave of the future.
Yeah.
So I have like a picture of each face, and I'm gonna I'm gonna try to devote some resources from like the greater Dakota region law enforcement enterprise, and try and get them to help me figure out who these two people might be. Unfortunately, they are very generic looking, so you can probably find 10 guys just walking down the street that match the description.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, whatever, I'll give it a shot.
Okay. All right, yeah. So you are able to put out like this,
like an APB kind of.
Well, it's like a cross agency bulletin sort of thing where, you're on the lookout for these guys.
Yeah. Perhaps this bulletin goes to all points.
No.
Okay.
Some are omitted.
Okay.
It's an SPB.
Yes, an MPB. Most
it's
points
some points bulletin.
Yeah.
Anyway, what do you want to do now?
Given that, I have to wait for some sort of response on that or a lack thereof, my attention presumably refocuses to the other case of the disappearing doctor, is what the Hardy Boys novel about this would be called.
Uh-huh.
So there's a couple avenues there. There's the Dr. Thorley thing, but then there's also the thing that we were there originally to look at, which is these bodies. So I had called yesterday to make sure that those bodies made it over to the university for dating, because Mike and the other guy ran off screaming. So I want to be able to figure out whether that happened and what the status is.
Okay, so you talked to some of the forensics guys at the department before you head over there, and it sounds like they did dispatch someone last night to actually make that happen.
Okay, did they get any feedback on whether that was complete?
The guys are still over there. They haven't gotten a positive report yet, and those guys haven't returned, so they are presumably still working on it.
Hopefully they hadn't both disappeared. Okay, then I offer to give Tim a lift over to the site. Hey, Tim, you want to lift over to the site? I'm going back to see if they've taken away those bodies yet.
Yeah, sure.
All right, come on. And we hop in my car.
Nice.
My detective mobile.
Okay, so you guys drive over there.
Yep.
It's another pretty clear day, which is good because you're going to be outside. And when you pull up in the parking lot, both of you recognize right away that parked like in the grass, because the parking lot is full at this point, but right next to the main road, parked in the grass, you see the black Ford Bronco.
I pull over immediately, weapon drawn.
It has government plates.
I don't care.
There is no one in the Bronco.
Okay. Do I have any sort of in my trunk, I've said I've had like a forensics kit. Does that have a camera?
I imagine.
I still got my camera.
What are you talking about?
The one that I.
No, you don't. You turned it in and they threw it away.
Oh, that's true. Damn it.
Yeah, Tim has his like vacation themed like disposable camera.
It's a Barbie doll toy camera.
You have a camera in your evidence kit.
Okay, I want to take pictures, like get the plates.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, so it's a Ford Bronco. It's not, it is possible.
A Ford Bronco, which we specifically picked because it's one of the most popular SUVs at the time.
Right. So but I'm on a hair trigger here.
Yeah.
And so they're pulled over in the same area, or
they are basically the parking lot for the trail.
Right. So
is overflowing, and so this car is parked on the grass right next to it.
Okay, is the path to the scene drivable?
Yes. It's like a wide dirt and gravel path.
Okay, then I am driving that gravel path up to the crime scene.
In your sedan?
In my sedan.
Okay.
There is a drive skill.
Okay. You know what? What do you have in drive?
50.
I'm gonna give it to you.
Okay.
You drive up there.
I'm like frantic.
Okay, I am gonna have you make a drive check.
I don't want to miss these guys. Oh, that's a pass. 5.
Okay. Yeah, so you drive weirdly fast. And it is loud because you're just spraying gravel into your wheel wells.
Yeah.
And when you get to the scene, you do see immediately a couple of forensics guys working on, it looks like pulling out the one bone at a time, pulling the bodies out and packaging them. And you can also see 2 guys that look very similar to what you saw on the tape.
I draw my gun.
Overseeing them.
I am I've got my badge around my neck, and I am, well, so my gun isn't pointed at them, but it's at my hip, and I am storming up to these guys and
so
yelling for them to identify
they're not
themselves.
facing you right now. They have their backs to you, and the one guy, the one who was driving, is wearing a navy blue FBI windbreaker. And the other guy is wearing a black BLM windbreaker.
How progressive.
What does BLM stand for in this context?
Bureau of Land Management.
Okay, and I'm storming up to these guys and grabbing one by the shoulder to make him turn around.
You
and
have
be
your gun out?
Not my gun out, but it's I am.
Okay.
My hand is on.
Right. So this is skeletal Simon Redding, with his jacket billowing around him. You go and you put a bony hand on this dude in the FBI windbreaker, and he, as you grab his arm and try to wrench him around, and he stiffens and turns and instinctively pulls his badge out. He's got one of those flip wallet FBI badges.
Does he look like one of the 2 guys in the picture?
Oh, he's definitely the driver.
I look at the badge very briefly, and then I look at him and say, "What were you doing on Tuesday? Ever been to Golden River Store it?"
He looks at you and squints. Make a human check.
Human. I think I'm terrible at that. I got a 50 in human. Pass. 30.
Okay. He initially, his eyes widen a little bit when he hears that, but he immediately controls himself. And he says, "What's this about?"
What's this about? It's about you tampering with my evidence.
And the other guy, turning now looking at you, also definitely the passenger from the vehicle, says, "Well, actually, it's our evidence." And
no, it's not.
The first guy says, "I'll take care of this." And he looks at you and he says, "Special Agent Johnson, FBI.
Yeah, go on.
We have jurisdiction here. We're taking over this investigation."
No, you don't. Show me the paperwork.
Yes, we do.
No, you don't.
Yes, we do.
I'm on the radio calling my chief.
So they look at you and wait for you to be done talking on the radio, and he says, "Listen, although this is state land in some respects, they built a park here, the federal government owns the mineral rights, which means we own anything dug up. FBI, Bureau of Land Management have jurisdiction.
I'm not talking about this case, idiot. I'm talking about
this crime scene.
I'm talking about the Spooner case."
"Sir, I don't know what you're talking about. This sounds like a local matter. I need you to vacate the crime scene."
I pull out my copies of the pictures, and I say, "Then what were you doing at Golden River Store on Tuesday?"
They look at the photo and they say, "That's not us."
I'm
Sir, I don't have time for this. We're in the middle of an investigation. If you do not leave this crime scene, I will arrest you.
Go for it. I've got my hand on my weapon, and I'm calling the chief for backup.
What is Tim doing?
Tim is just kind of standing back going what is happening right now? This doesn't make any sense. Not a whole lot I can do.
Okay.
How close are they to the so we're standing near the antenna?
So they are standing, the antenna and the 2 bodies are within 20 feet of each other.
Mm-hmm.
So they're standing in the middle of this clearing. Like before you could really react, Simon pulled over at the edge of the clearing and like ran out into the clearing and started manhandling these guys. So did you jump out after him and follow him in, or?
I jumped out after him and followed him, but I kind of slowed down and held back after it looked like it was going to get violent because I didn't want to get in the way. So I'm on the fringes of this. I'm maybe like 10 feet away from them as they're having this conversation.
Okay. So Simon, what is Simon saying on the radio?
So I'm calling to the station, and I'm telling them that I found the guys that jacked the evidence for the Donnelly case, and I need backup now at the search scene from yesterday.
Okay. Yep. And so you hear like an acknowledgement from the station, and the chief comes on, and he says, "Detective Redding, I'm on my way with backup."
Nice. Dude, I love the chief. I know he hates me, but he's always got my back. He's a good chief.
As they're hearing this, so FBI Special Agent Johnson looks at you and says, "I don't have time for this." And he looks at his compatriot and says, "We'll sort this out at the field office. Let's get out of here." And
I moved to arrest one of them.
Okay, like you were trying to physically prevent which one? They're both kind of in tandem, moving towards the trail now.
So the smaller one, because I think you said one of them was like a bigger square-jawed guy.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the BLM dude. He's the smaller of the two. He's like 5'7", still fit looking.
Sure. So I'm like shouting at them and saying like, "You're not going anywhere."
Okay, and they are trying
to
quickly but non-confrontationally walk around you.
So I'm calling in and saying, back up, please get here soon. They're fleeing the scene, and then I'm rushing after one of them.
Okay.
Like if they start running, I'm gonna get in my car.
They're not running. They're quickly walking.
Okay. Then I'm gonna try to arrest. If I can catch up to one of them, I'm gonna try to arrest him.
Okay, so you're gonna like jog after the second guy, the BLM dude, and grab him?
No, on second thought, I'm just gonna get in my car and start following them back.
Okay.
Because they're not gonna be able to outrun me, and I'm gonna be like radioing them, and like if I have to chase their car, I will. I don't care.
Okay. Tim, what are you doing?
Tim watches as the cars pull away and goes, "Oh."
So it should just be the one car because they're on foot. They have to walk.
They're on
right.
foot.
Yeah. So I'm still at the antenna, and I'm just like, "Oh."
Okay.
Okay. So
I figure, hey, if people are trying to jack this thing, maybe I'll hang around and see if anybody else swings by.
So, they are walking briskly along the trail, not looking back at you. You're like right on top of them. They know you're right there. And once they reach a pretty dense patch of woods, with trees that abut the trail, they dart right into the trees.
Okay, I'm just gonna speed off and go to their car.
Okay.
Because either like they're gonna have to walk back to town or something, or they're gonna have to come back to the car, and I'm gonna be there.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So you go to the parking lot. So what are you doing? Are you just gonna squat on the car?
I'm gonna squat on the car, and I'm gonna like do my best to block it so that like they wouldn't be able to. If they got into the car, they wouldn't be able to go anywhere, or it'd be very difficult for them to.
Okay.
And meanwhile, I'm radioing what's going on to the station. Like these guys are obvious. There's something up here. Whether they're actually whoever they say they are, I don't know. But I do know they're doing something wrong.
Okay.
And I've got them dead to rights. Like they were at the the place where I had already established and talked to my chief about how the evidence went missing, and there was no official transfer of the case to anything federal. So like I've got these guys as far as I'm concerned. Now it's just a question of what course that takes.
Okay. And that is a good point to end today's session.
I'm excited. I'm excited
The hunt is
about
on.
this turn. This is great. I love it.
All right. Well, join us next week for another session. For a manhunt. We'll see how well that Some Points Bulletin works.
Oh yeah, this is great.